Hi there, good morning. How are you today? Or good afternoon or good evening, depending on when you're coming in or where you're coming in from. So today we're talking about something a little different. Today we're going to be talking about hormones because we all have them, and sometimes they mess with our goals, like our weight loss goals. So, excuse me. So a lot of times, we feel like we're doing everything right, whether we're like with our diet and with our exercise and all of those things, and we just feel like we're doing it all right, and then we get so frustrated or discouraged because nothing's happening. The scale's not moving, your clothes are not fitting quite the way you want them to, you're not losing weight, and you're like, what the heck is going on here? So I'm talking about this today specifically because it's a special request as well. So I wanted to address it and touch on some of these hormones, very important hormones that we have that make such a difference in what goes on in our body and what we can actually do to try to help them along when they're not functioning quite the way we want them to. So if you come on, say hello, let me know you're here, and if you catch the replay, #replay, and Kennedy, say hi.
Hi.
It's my daughter, Kennedy. So, she's joining me today. She's my sidekick. So let's get right into it so we can discuss what's going on with these hormones inside our body. So, I'm sure that maybe at some point you may have hit that really stubborn plateau. Even though, like I said, you feel like you're doing everything right, like you're eating right, you're eating all the right foods, you're exercising. So how can you actually get past that when you feel like you're doing everything right, but you're still at that plateau? Well, believe it or not, there's so many obstacles that come into play here that actually have, sometimes they have nothing to do with how much you're actually eating or exercising, right? So instead, what we want to do, it's more like what's going on are maybe some nutritional imbalances, chronic inflammation can be happening in our body, some metabolic challenges. We might have leaky gut, changes to your microbiome, some environmental toxins. All of these are going to be challenges for your body, and even genes. Sometimes we just can't help our genes. Sometimes we don't have the control over it, and they can all get in the way of our weight loss goals, okay? So one reason that, sometimes we don't think about is an imbalance in our hormones. So the main hormone culprit here that actually causes weight gain, inflammation, and chronic disease is having too much insulin. So think of this as feeding your fat cells. So if you have too much insulin, that's what's happening, okay? It's going to increase your fat. But insulin isn't the only player here, okay? There's also hormones that have an effect on your weight and health too. So your three biggest culprits here are your thyroid, your cortisol, and your sex hormones, which are the estrogen and testosterone. So I want to talk about each one in a little more detail for us today so we can understand what the heck they're doing to our bodies. So first of all, our thyroid. Research has actually shows that our that hypothyroidism, which is a low functioning thyroid, it affects 1 in 5 women and 1 in 10 men. So it's more common in women, but it still does affect men too. And a cause, a common cause of hypothyroidism is having an intolerance to gluten. Okay. There's lots of other major culprits too that interfere with thyroid function, like pesticides and heavy metals, all these toxins. And there could be some nutrient deficiencies going on. So you want to take a look at that. Take a look at your diet. Are you taking a multivitamin, things like that? Because nutrient deficiencies can also slow things down for you because your thyroid really needs specific nutrients to run at just this optimal level. Okay, things like selenium and zinc and iodine and your omega-3 fats. Okay, so what actually, like for myself, I was recently diagnosed just maybe probably 2 months ago, maybe a month or two ago, I don't know, but recently anyway, with hypothyroid, and I was shocked, absolutely shocked. I was like, what, me? And I'm at the healthiest point in my life. That's all I could think. I mean, I've gone through a lot of unhealthy to get to where I am, but I'm to the point where I'm healthier than I've ever been. So I just thought to myself, like, what? And I could tell the doctor was like reading my mind, and he said some things are just out of your control. Some things you can't control. It's genes. My mother has it, my aunts and uncles. It's just in the family. And some things are just, like I mentioned earlier, sometimes genes play a role, and sometimes things are just out of your control. But there are things that you can do about it because, first of all, what did my doctor want to do? Give me meds. What did I say? Heck no. No, I'm good. No. I'm going to do what I know best as a health coach, and that's what I'm going to do. And he just, gives me this smirk and says, all right, when you figure it out, you let me know. And guess what? I will let you know, because when I come back from my blood work in 6 months, we will see, and he will see. So I have been eliminating gluten and dairy, as I just said that with the most common cause of hypothyroidism is that intolerance to gluten. So no more gluten in my life, which I didn't have much of anyway, but now it's, completely vanishing. And dairy too. Dairy is another one. Dairy is an inflammatory, so no more dairy. Just, making these healthy little tweaks and changes to my lifestyle. And then they're not huge changes for me because they're not something that I overdo it on anyway. So with that, I'm going to make sure, now that I know the particular nutrients that my body needs specifically for my thyroid to run at its optimum level, like the selenium, the zinc, the iodine, and the omega-3s, I'm going to make sure that I'm getting those in my body, right? And most doctors don't treat it as effectively as they could by optimizing your thyroid function through diet, okay? And the supplements and the right thyroid hormone replacement, if needed. So what is unfortunate, since thyroid function plays a major role in maintaining a healthy weight, and hypothyroid is a major player in weight loss resistance. So if this hormone is off balance for you, how can you actually optimize your own thyroid function for your weight loss? Well, first of all, you want to have that checked, right? You want to know what your thyroid levels, where they're at. So you want to get the right tests. You want to ask your doctor to check your TSH, which is your thyroid stimulating hormone, and your T3 and your T4. And some people may want to dig a little deeper, and you can do a reverse T3, but you can talk to your doctor about all these kinds of things. But you want to make sure that you're eliminating things like heavy metals and pesticides and toxins. So in your even your like bath and body products, like your cleaning products, all of these different places that toxins come into our lives sometimes when we're not even realizing it, and they build up over time, okay? And that's not good for our hormone function, particularly thyroid function. So, and another thing is, of course, like I mentioned, you don't want to eat right for your thyroid. So, sometimes we're not sure. We think we're eating the right foods, but depending on what we have going on in our own unique body, the foods can really be limited to certain foods, even when we think we're eating really good foods. Like for a thyroid, you do not want to be eating raw kale or cruciferous vegetables, okay? Because they can actually, they actually do contain thyroid blocking compounds, all right? And foods that are really good, though, are like wild-caught fish, but low mercury, okay? We don't want those heavy metals, and seaweed for that additional iodine. I know, seaweed sounds so good, doesn't it? But there are some other options for iodine, like Brazil nuts. Brazil nuts have the selenium and the iodine. So it's just a matter of finding exactly which foods contain what you need for your unique body according to what's going on in your body and those hormones fluctuating, and maybe having you have that stall in your weight loss, okay? Even overexposure to like fluoride and chlorine, can create these iodine deficiencies, And some other really good options for your thyroid are things like pumpkin seeds and oysters and like I said, the Brazil nuts, all those kinds of things. So like I said, it's a matter of finding out, first of all, if you are plateauing or if you're thinking you're doing all the right things and nothing's happening and your scale's not going down like you want it to, there might be an imbalance going on in your body, okay? So it's definitely important to speak to your doctor and get the right tests done to begin with, so that at that point you can move forward and where to go from there. And then there's cortisol, as I mentioned, and another reason we have weight loss resistance is due to this lovely stress hormone. Did you know that you can actually think yourself fat or thin? And science actually proves it. Stressful thoughts will actually activate these metabolic pathways that cause weight gain and insulin resistance. So remember, stress is a response to stimulation that makes you feel threatened. It's not always brought on by a real circumstance. It's more of a perception that we're being attacked. So I know this sounds crazy, but most stress isn't real, because a worry or a thought or fear or thinking into the future of what might go wrong can all become just these stressors, right? And that's only a short period of time, but we carry them with us, right? We carry them with us, and a lot of times we don't know how to reset our mindset. So if you've had some trauma that you've gone through and you've gotten through it and you've survived it, it can still live in your body even after that original stressor is gone, okay? And it can manifest in your body, and it can manifest so negatively and turn into sickness or disease in our body. So that's why it's really important to, make peace with whatever, stressor you have going on. And, meditation and yoga, all these nice de-stressing techniques that you can do for your body and your mind. And regardless, stress is any real or imagined threat to your body. So while that might mean that, a lion chasing you, it could also mean maybe your boss is mad at you. Like two totally different things, but it's still stress to the body either way. Okay, so your body's still going to react the same way, because stress creates these hormonal responses that cause weight gain and that insulin resistance. Okay, so again, if you feel like you're doing all the right things and you're having this weight loss plateau and you can't understand what's going on, you might just be too stressed. That cortisol hormone might be a little too high for you. And cortisol is actually an adrenal hormone, and it helps you to actually be able to run faster and further, and makes you actually be able to hear better and actually pump that fuel into your bloodstream for that quick energy. So it is the hormone that helps you to actually survive when you're faced with real danger. But it also shuts down our digestion and it slows our metabolism. Okay, so it can have a negative effect on us. And all of this, it's absolutely normal in the short term, but if it goes left unchecked and it's prolonged, the high level of stress, it's going to end up causing things like, high blood pressure. It's going to increase your belly fat. You're going to have higher blood sugar, higher cholesterol. It can even end up having muscle loss. So that's why it's really important to do some self-care for your body and be kind to yourself and try not to be so stressed. So when you are stressed, find a point in the day where you can de-stress a little bit, do something for yourself so that you're not keeping that cortisol hormone up all the time, okay? A few simple little things that you can do, try to change your thinking. I know it's not so easy, easier said than done kind of thing, but it can really be very powerful when you think positive on a regular basis, okay? It's a long-term way, actually, to be happy and reduce your stress. And we get into habits of thinking that, actually keep us stressed. So we really need to get those negative thoughts out of our head. So some things like meditation or just some simple positive affirmations to ourselves every day. It's that simple, but it's a matter of doing them on a regular basis for them to make a difference for us in the long run. And you can actually actively practice relaxation. This might sound, or might be actually a little simple as just doing some deep breathing. All right, some deep breathing techniques. Just, breathe in, hold it for a second, and then let it out slowly. do that like 10 times in a row. You're going to feel your body calm and de-stress, or take a nice warm bath, which actually brings up your body temperature to help you actually get rid of the stress from your body and helps you to reduce your stress hormones. Or like I said, meditation. A great meditation app is called Insight Timer. It's actually a free app. Calm is awesome, but that's a paid app, but it's a really good one too. But Insight Timer is free, and I love it. I absolutely love it. It's a really good meditation app if you're looking for something. And then another thing you could do is just, make time with others, make time to actually connect, make those connections, those personal connections by taking time with like friends and family. To love and be loved is powerful. It's a very powerful healing medicine for us. So now I want to move on to our sex hormones, which, the estrogen and the testosterone, okay? Because if we have an imbalance there, that can also mess with us, all right? And having too much estrogen actually causes the weight gain because, did you know that, like, ranchers, like, who like these farmers who actually will give their steer or their bulls, the cattle, they actually give them estrogen before they go for sale, and that's the hormone that they use because they're implanting them with this estrogen to help make them gain weight. Okay, so when we have too much estrogen, it causes weight gain, whether we're a man or a woman. Okay, it goes for everybody, and of course, too much sugar too, and those refined carbs and alcohol, they also will spike estrogen. Okay, and if you don't have enough fiber, we need fiber. Fiber is really, really important for us. Or if you have too many antibiotics, that can also damage your gut. So you really need that fiber to help move everything through, and that's going to make the estrogen spike if you don't have, like, if your gut is being damaged, because you cannot properly detoxify or you can't properly excrete your waste, okay? And it's going to make it worse for your gut microbiome. And environmental toxins too, they absolutely thrive on these pesticides because even at low doses, they act like estrogen in your body. Okay, we don't want too much of it. We want just the right amount. So how can you tell if you actually have an excess of estrogen in your body? Well, one thing you could have like breast tenderness if you're a woman or man too, fluid retention. You could have really bad premenstrual syndrome. Good morning, Angela. How are you? You could have fibroids, heavy menstrual bleeding, things like that. And in men, an excess estrogen can actually cause them to lose body hair, like their chest hair on their legs and on their arms. They get a beer belly and they get like man boobs. And so men are affected just as much. I mean, they have the hormones too. And low testosterone in men can actually accelerate their aging. And of course, if you're not exercising enough and you're drinking too much alcohol and you're just stressed out and you got all these environmental toxins coming in at you, or even diseases like diabetes or pituitary problems, they can all lower our testosterone. So low testosterone causes men to lose muscle and gain fat, which then they get tired, they get the brain fog, they can have bone loss, which is going to lead to osteoporosis. All these things are going on in our bodies when we have a hormonal imbalance. So if you think you may have hormone imbalances, you're going to want to get tested for them first thing. That's number one. But I have a couple of strategies to help you get started, okay? So number one, let's eat a hormone balancing diet. And that means low sugar, okay? Like really good fats like avocados, nuts, nut butters. Just had a bird hit the window. And lots of foods high in fiber, okay? And these can all help to balance your hormones. And you want to really bulk up on that fiber, like ground flax seeds and lignans, because they're, like I said, it's going to help you balance your hormones. Even like 2 tablespoons a day added. You could just throw it into a shake, all right? Or even sprinkle it on a salad. And you'll also want to eat some like really high fiber rich organic fruits and veggies, okay? And of course, we want to be not constipated, right? Because we want to be able to clean that out and have a nice, healthy gut microbiome. So constipation is not good for our hormones. So to help you along, you could take some magnesium citrate, vitamin C, a good probiotic, and flax seeds, like I mentioned as well, that you can just throw into a shake, but on a daily basis, okay? And this will help you out. And of course, we want to limit or remove alcohol, at least cut down on it a little bit, because excess alcohol can actually compromise our liver and kidney function, which is not going to help to detoxify and creates, again, those hormonal imbalances. And it also creates high triglycerides and fatty liver, too. So we want to be careful of that consumption. And of course, we want to get moving, right? We want to move our bodies, get some exercise, because exercise helps to balance our hormones, and reducing estrogen and increasing testosterone, which helps you lose fat and then build muscle. So, while there's so many culprits here that contribute to our weight loss plateaus, but by addressing all of these 3 hormonal imbalances, it can help you to lose that stubborn weight. So if you have any questions, please let me know. Pop it in the comments for me. But I just wanted to get that out there for you and for this special request today. Excuse me, my throat today. But if you come up with anything, if anything pops in your head and you're like, oh, I'd like to hear more about this, or any topic you want to hear more about, guys, just let me know. Feel free to reach out. So that's it for today, and I hope you have a very beautiful day, and I will talk to you soon. Bye, guys.